I'd like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of April 11th, 2019 at 6:04 p.m. and ask Clerk Sims to give a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunter.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington.
Here.
Trustee Barker.
Here.
Trustee Barry.
Here.
Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Attorney Zimonak.
Here.
Village Manager May.
Here.
Finance Director Parker.
Here. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. First item, I'm looking at the chief open forum. Does anybody here want to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? If not, I'll close open forum, move on to reports. My reports first, and I'm going to call Larry McIntyre to the podium and talk about our Sister City program.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. As you are all aware, it's exciting that we've had this student exchange program going on for several years, but just recently we sent our first group of students over to Taiwan, and it's our understanding that they had an amazing time, and they're here to give a little bit of a report. So I'm going to introduce Peter Landreth from Westmont High School.
All right, I have a few students who were there with me. In fact, why don't you two come on up? We got Johnny Karish and we have Nate Robinson here, and we should have one or two more, but we'll see what happens. A busy time of year for the students. We thought we would, and I'll run through a quick slide presentation. We have a video as well that was put together by Emma Bronstetter, who is not here, but we'll see if she shows she's here in spirit. So just kind of give you a sense of what we did here. We obviously, we were in Taiwan. We flew into Taipei and spent our first 2 days in Taipei and up along the north coast. Then we headed south to Hsinchu for about 4 more days, during which time the kids went to school with our sister school, Lojia High School. We then went we then traveled for a few days down to Sun Moon Lake in central Taiwan, and then we finished up down in Tainan for a day before we headed all the way back up to Taipei and flew out. It was a fun trip, very exciting, included all manner of different things on our North Coast run here. Students had a chance to hike around a national park for a bit and explore and get lost a little bit and then find their way. I do believe in students getting lost in order to find themselves again. We spent some time up on top of Taipei 101, which some of you have been to, and it's very impressive. It was a nice day to do that, and they enjoyed that immensely. We also ate at the, what was the name of the restaurant, Angela? Ding Tai Fung, yes, yes. The dumpling restaurant that many of you have been to as well. They really enjoyed that. Mango shaved ice. They delved into all manner of different foods and explored constantly. We did get to Chiang Kai-shek Memorial, which was very impressive for everybody. Blew us all away. And in fact, Johnny had a chance to meet a group of these were Japanese baseball players?
Yeah, they were a group of people there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met a group of Japanese baseball players at the top of Taipei 101, actually. We saw them up there, went over, said hi, and took a picture with them. And then we went to the Shanghai Shek Memorial, and we saw them there again. So we got another picture with them. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Making friends.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun in that sense.
Nice. And here we are in front of the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial. So there were 15 students that went. And it was a good mix. It was almost an equal mix of boys and girls, and a wide variety from freshmen to seniors. Okay, there was no one class that dominated. So it was really quite a nice group of kids. They all represented us so well. They were so well spoken. When they had their opportunities, they got to know the metro system. We use that extensively in Taipei. And when we went to Hsinchu, we got around. Some of you have been to the Teddy Bear Museum, and you know, that seems to be an essential visit these days in Taiwan and Hsinchu. But we visited that. After school, we'd go off and we would visit. They go to school for about 4 or 5 hours in the morning, eat lunch there as well with the students, and then we would go off and have other educational experiences with members of the school, so they get to know them in a different setting. Here they are making mochi one day, and then they eat it. This is us down in Sun Moon Lake. We took the cable car up to the top and got a good view around. And we took a boat ride out on Sun Moon Lake as well as part of the experience. But probably the day that's most memorable of all after school experience was the bike ride, in which they biked 20 miles along the coast. It was quite windy, and some of them didn't realize they'd have to come back. And many of them felt that this was perhaps more than, yes, torture, or you guys were fine.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
He thoroughly enjoyed it. Some of the girls less so. But anyway, Emma still made the video despite the torture that she had been put under. So yes, it was the turnaround point that they realized. They thought they could bring the bike, just turn it in right there, and didn't realize they had to go all the way back. So anyway, it was good for them. Of course, we had our responsibilities while we were there to represent Westmont, and here we are in the Hsinchu County Council exchanging gifts. There's Angela, of course. Everyone knows Angela well at this point, with the speaker of the Hsinchu County Council, and I'm presenting a plaque to him here. And then we all got a chance to get up on the podium, and a few of us got a chance to bang the gavel. So Johnny really wanted to bang that gavel. Yeah. So, and here they are enjoying themselves, Nick and Johnny here. But school was why we were there, okay? And a number of the kids mentioned, and this really struck me, so many of them said, you know, they were going to have trouble explaining to people that they went on spring break to go to school. And it was just kind of a strange thing for many of them to think about afterwards, but they really enjoyed it. In fact, we only had, because Hsinchu Lujiao High School had their exams the first 2 days we were there, we only spent 3 days in the school. And the one thing the students said that they wanted more of was more school time. Okay, so see if you ever hear that again. But they were in the classrooms and enjoying making new friends. The classes tended to be over 40 students per classroom, and so they had a chance to see how things ran in Taiwan. They made new friends. This is Johnny and Nick in an English class, and you guys got them all right.
Yeah, we were leading our team. We did pretty good. There's not much else to say in that regard. It was a lot of fun, though.
I do notice you're the only boys at the table.
Yeah, that's where they put us.
Okay, all right.
Nick and I, we did pretty good, so.
Oh, good, good. All right, and so some more of the girls in classes here. So they enjoyed it immensely, had a good time. There's Nate surrounded by his class. They insisted on taking a full picture there with everybody. And so Nate, you stand out a little bit there. But, so it was a good time. Now, Emma also put together a brief video of the experience, and you can take care of that, Larry. Here's Severin.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Now,
on the North Shore for the first couple days, but it bounces around.
Hey, Larry?
A variety of different things. So like a lot of these are at night markets we went to. We went to a couple of them for dinner. It was pretty interesting, the variety they offered too. And then Nick and I made it our goal to try every single different type of food we could while we were there. One night actually we went out for dinner with our host family because Nick and I stayed together with Scott, who stayed with Miss Little, and it was interesting because I ordered grilled salmon and they just brought out the salmon head. That was it. It was nothing else. So it was an interesting experience, and so we took every opportunity to try those different foods. And so, I mean, we got really to see a lot of Taiwan. We spent the last couple days in Tainan, which is in the southern part of Taiwan, and that was a very cool experience because, as Angela said, a lot of the food there was pretty unique to that area. So the food there, oh, there's our Japanese baseball friends again. So it was really nice to be able to enjoy the different foods of the different regions within Taiwan at the same time. I mean, there's not too much video from school just because we really couldn't be on the cameras as much, but school really offered a great opportunity to connect with the students there because for me, I hosted 2 years ago. I know we just had a group of students here in November, but that first group of students from Hsinchu County, I had the opportunity to host. And I got to see all of them again. And it was really nice because we got to all hang out one night, and it was really great to see them. This is the dumpling place we went to. We got to go up to the glass and see them make the dumplings and stuff, and they have a pretty intricate process for that, and it was really nice to see and observe firsthand. This is Sun Moon Lake, the largest lake in Taiwan. It was really nice to see that and experience it. This is the hot springs we went to. Yeah, this is the hot spring. That was very fun. Very nice and relaxing. I think that was just what we needed at the right time to kind of adjust to, you know, the time difference and just kind of relax a little bit. This is when we were all hanging out with the friends from 2 years ago. We went to a mall in Taiwan, and it was San Francisco themed on the top floor. I wasn't expecting that at all when I walked in, and they had trolley cars and an ice skating rink, everything you could think of. It was pretty cool. Nick had a skill for one of the games and just kept winning, and he got tons of tickets. We had the opportunity to make paper while we were there, and that's what you're seeing in the video. It was like a traditional style paper. We were able to, you know, sift and make the actual paper and then put our own prints on it of a traditional drawing, and then also make a fan where you could draw, or I wrote like a Chinese word on there and brought it to our AP econ class. And so yeah, then this is on Sun Moon Lake. We were able to get a boat tour around the lake. It's unfortunate that it was cloudy. I mean, even though it was cloudy, it was a great experience, but the mountains just kept going, it seems like. It seemed as if they were endless. So it really, everything about the trip just opened up new opportunities, a new way to see, you know, life halfway across the world. I'm really grateful for the experience because, you know, Mr. Landers mentioned earlier that this group was really, you know, a group that had a lot of different backgrounds. So some of them had traveled before, but for me personally, I'd never left the country. So to see, you know, how teenagers live and to get to live with the teenagers was really great. This is from our bike ride, and this is at one of the night markets. We got to try some, like, you know, breaded cheese. It was pretty good. This is they had a lot of temples we got to visit and check out, which is cool because the attention to detail there is, you know, pretty awesome. And I'm sure there's a couple of you guys saw if you guys went on the Taiwan trips. And that's the end of the video. So yeah, it was really great.
Very nice.
Did you get to try stinky tofu?
Yeah, I did, yes. Scott got a video of me eating it, and it surprisingly, once you got over the smell, it didn't taste too bad. The smell, not so great.
Take your word.
The other two boys that are here, Severin just arrived as well. Severin is a freshman, Nate's a junior, Johnny's a senior. We did have some sophomores as well. Do you guys have anything you want to say about the trip? Anything that stood out to you?
Not really, that hasn't already been said, so.
That hasn't already been said, okay. Severin, how about you?
I don't know really what was said before, but I think that this trip was a great experience, especially for the AP Human Geography, because you can make so many connections to that class. Many of them were from the most recent unit, which we studied agriculture. We got to see the rice paddies, and we even went to a tomato and strawberry farm, and we got to pick our own tomatoes and strawberries, which we could buy and take home. And we also, it was interesting to study how the population lives and on which side due to the geography of Taiwan. But other than making relations to the class, it was wonderful to see how people halfway across the world basically live the same lives as we do and have the same goals, which is to make a better future for themselves and their children.
Very nice.
Thank you, Severin. All right, at this time I'd like to introduce Angela. everybody knows that.
Our
You need no
ambassador.
introduction.
Okay, so just let me wrap up the everything's not happening in Taiwan. First of all, I'd like to thank you everyone to make this happen. Also, kids need to learn based on the Sister City program. Without this, none of this will have happened. So this is one of the under the Sister City program. So student exchange, I saw the kids grew up over this program. Even the 2 years ago, they start sending the kids over to U.S. And this year is the first time we send our kids over to Taiwan, even though they can't speak any Mandarin, and we will force them to stay in school for 3 half days, but they still enjoy themselves. There's a lot of space we still can improve in itinerary-wise, schedule-wise, and purpose-wise, or whatever. But I think this trip actually made the kids change a lot, I think, from both of them. The Taiwan kids, Taiwan parents always say after they came back to Taiwan from Westmont High School, they see their kids grow more mature, they think other people more, and they know how pressure to stay as their own house, and they appreciate their parents more. Here too, our kids went over and have a world to Taiwan. Once they came back, I think they actually grew up a little bit more too. So I just truly thank you for Village of Westmont to make the Sister City program go on, and also we have more wonderful programs going on, and of course the student exchange program will continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And Marie?
I just wanted to say hello, Marie Charlton, School Board President, also mom of Nick, who was in the video with Johnny all over. Anyway, I just have to say thank you to the Village and to the Sister City program. What Nick told me when he came home was it was one of the best trips of his life, and he felt like it lasted a really long time. And that, to me, says they had a great time. And as far as District 201, what a great experience for our kids to learn what other cultures are happening. Kids around, every teenager's going through the same thing. I will tell you, Peter, that I forgot to tell you this, but Nick said he had to do a test in Mandarin and he didn't pass.
Oh, yeah, that was tough.
Okay, that's not going to go on his report card, right? Okay, great. So, okay. Anyway, thank you all very much. We look forward to continuing this relationship. Nick's friend, Scott, friended me on Facebook, so we're going to go there. So,
And Marie, you and your superintendent, Kevin Carey, we want to thank you for hosting the exchange students a year ago, and they're coming, another group's coming back. And I didn't know if you had anything to add to that, but.
Well, just that, that's correct, Mayor. We've, so far, the last 2 years, we've had students from Hsinchu County visit our high school and stay with our families, usually right around Thanksgiving. And this next fall, we'll have our third group who will be visiting. But one of the experiences I know that we have always discussed when we have received the students from Taiwan is you realize just how small the world is. And, you know, high school students are high school students. And I'm sure that the host families in Taiwan had the same experience when our students traveled there as well, that really is a small world, and kids are kids. And it's been a great experience, I know, for Westmont High School and for our school district, and we're thrilled to be a part of the program.
And thank you.
I don't know, when Kevin and the group went to visit, was it a couple months ago?
Last year.
Last year. And when they went, I don't know if they mentioned this to you before, but when they went to the high school, a lot of the kids that were here had their Westmont High School shirts on. So that was pretty awesome. So, okay.
So on behalf of the school board and Westmont High School, we had this plaque made to commemorate this experience and to present to the village here tonight. So it has a picture of us at the Hsinchu County Council with some of their elected officials there, and we thought this would be a nice way to commemorate this journey. So.
And you do have to, Trustee Little accompanied you to the, so you're in the picture. You want to accept that?
No, I didn't go on that trip.
Oh, the one before.
I was on the trip before.
That's right. You wouldn't go with the kids.
Thank She didn't let me.
Might be as well, but good idea. I can go ahead and get school board over here as well. And trustee Little, you want to come? Ready, here we go. 1, 2, look here, and. Got it. All right, thank you. Oh, okay, thumbs up. One more thumbs up. One more thumbs up. Thumbs up. Here we go. 1, 2, and. Okay. Thank you. That's how you did it. Not sure what that direction was.
Thank you. There's not enough to share.
That's what you say.
Pineapple.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Microphone, yeah.
Miss Little, these are from Scott to you. He really, Scott, gift giving is pretty big in the Taiwanese culture, and Scott really, accepts that fully. And so he asked me to bring some things for Miss Little here today because he really enjoyed his stay here with her. So I just have to bring these over.
All right.
And I would just like to express my thanks to the board for the program in general and for your support. And it was a wonderful experience, and the kids were wonderful. Like I
Thank
say,
you for
they were
organizing.
fantastic representatives of all
Good.
of us.
Thanks, Pete. And before Larry takes off, we've got another program.
Thank you. Actually, this is related to our sister city program as well. Every year, our Health and Wellness Committee does initiatives to encourage our staff to get fit. And this year, the idea came about that we're going to count our steps and see if we can walk all the way to Hsinchu County. And just had a conversation with Angela, Ambassador Yang, about this. So she's going to talk to our Taiwanese counterparts, and they're going to try to walk back to Westmont. So we put a...
Meet us halfway.
or meet us halfway. If you get tired, we'll meet you halfway. But we put a promo up on the website, and so the community can sign up as well. Community can sign up and count their steps. Every month they'll let us know how many steps they had, and we'll keep tally of that. Internally, Mike Ramsey will be doing that with staff, counting the steps. And the goal is, it starts May 1st and goes through October 31st. And it's over 8,000 miles, but we think we can do it. So just wanted to let everybody know that that's in the works.
Good, thank you. The one more item on the 29th of this month at 6 o'clock at Oakbrook Hills, Westmont Oakbrook Hills, Hilton. We're having our annual Community Awards program. And there's 12 different awards being presented. And a lot of our service clubs, along with the chamber, are there that evening to honor individuals for the previous year. So if anybody would like to go, you could contact the chamber, and tickets are still available. So we'd like to see everybody there. It's a fun evening to recognize those who give to the community. At this point, I'll let Clerk Simsky update us.
Okay, I just want to remind everybody that there's a free leaf pickup May 6th through the 10th. Leaves only, must be in craft paper bags. So.
And this is a new, we never had before.
Right,
so.
right.
During the regular garbage day, right?
So just look on the website for details. I want to also mention that Rotary, Westmont Rotary's Club, which is Harold and I are both in. Chief Gunther back there and the mayor is having the reverse raffle on April 26th. All of us have tickets, so please, anybody interested, come and go because we'd love to have you, and we have supported other raffles, so we'd appreciate if they'd support us back. And finally, but not least of all, a happy day, belated birthday to our attorney, John Zimmerman.
John.
What'd you do on your birthday? Sit right here for 3 hours last night.
That's it.
Trustee Addington.
A couple of things tonight, thank you, Mayor. First one is, even though tonight is not necessarily a good example, but weather is changing. And kids are gonna be out and about more, they're gonna be on their bikes, they're gonna be playing, so when you're driving around on the Westmont streets, please be a little more diligent, be a little slower in your driving, and be careful of our children. And that's the biggest asset we have in this town, is the future for our kids, so watch out for them. The other thing is, congratulations is in order, not only to our attorney for his birthday, but we just had a municipal election all across Illinois, and a gentleman who served this community for 18 years as the village manager has been elected a councilman in Mount Vernon. That's Ray Botch. He has been working there for the last several years because they have some of the same infrastructure problems that we had here, and the new mayor there, John Lewis, asked Ray to step up and help them correct some of those problems, and now he's decided to run and become a politician instead of an administrator. So he's not in your camp anymore, Steve, he's in ours. But he'll be sworn in on May the 6th, and congratulations to Ray. He was a good guy here, and he'll be a good guy down there. And the third thing is that community development will be meeting here in 2 weeks at 4:30, and we got several things on the agenda, including finalizing things like how to store your boats and big RVs and things like that, so they're not in a problem for your neighbors. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the downtown and some of the other things. We got about 4 or 5 things on the agenda, so those will be. Bruce, or anything else you want to mention about next? Just be here. Or?
Be here. We've got an update on the department.
Right.
We've got an application for a business in the downtown area.
So we'll be busy in 2 weeks. And that's it, sir.
Thank you. Before we move on, I do have to congratulate our 3 re-elected
That's right, yes, I
trustees
forgot.
for another 4 years, and congratulations. Trustee Guzzo.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things. Our next Public Safety Committee meeting will be Thursday, May 23rd, 4:30 here in the Village Hall. Everyone is welcome. Starting with the Police Department, the volleyball fundraiser with School District 201 to benefit Special Olympics is Wednesday, April 24th, 6:30 at the Westmont High School, 909 Oakwood Drive. There's information on the website. In addition to that, the drug take-back is April 27th from 10 till 2 at the Marianos at 150 West 63rd Street and our Westmont Police Station at 500 North Cass Avenue. There is also more information on the village website for that. Cop on Top, benefiting Special Olympics at both Dunkin' Donuts locations, 19 West 63rd Street and 121 West Ogden Avenue, will be participating from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mark that one on your calendar as well. Special Olympics paper shredding fundraiser is at the Westmont Police Department, 500 North Cass Avenue on Saturday, May 18th from 9 till noon. And then the fire department, the Citizens Fire Academy, had their graduation last night. Congratulations to everyone that participated. Everyone who participated had a very positive feedback about this class in our fire department, so congratulations to our new graduates. Another Westmont Fire Department Facebook page. Be sure to like the new Westmont Fire Department Facebook page. It is now up and running. Under EMA, retired Fire Chief Dave Weiss has been selected as the new Westmont EMA Director. He starts in his new role on Monday, April 15th. Congratulations to Dave on that. It'll be good to see him. And then last but definitely not least, the Knights of Columbus is still holding its Lenten Fish Fry.
2 more.
It is Friday nights from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Knights of Columbus Hall, 25 North Cass Avenue. If you haven't been there, go on out. They've got great fish. You get to see everybody in town, so they do a great job, so please try to support the Knights of Columbus. And Mayor, that's all I have.
Well, thank you. Trustee Barry.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's hard to go after the impressive students we saw tonight from 201, and you know, hats off to any of the parents. I mean, what a wonderful group of kids. So, what a great program. Our next EDC meeting will be May 1st here at the Village Hall. We've been on a little bit of hiatus, but there's still a lot of economic development going on. Last week we had a ribbon cutting at Club Pilates in St. James Crossing. This next week, on Wednesday, April 17th, from 5 to 7, we have a business after hours at McGrath Lexus. Enjoy snacks and drinks while connecting with fellow chamber members and local business leaders. And if you want to test drive Lexuses, if you want to buy a Lexus, that's a good time to do it on April 17th. We also have a ribbon cutting coming up at Go Polar. Let me botch the name here, Cryotherapy, Thursday, April 25th, and that's from 11 to 11:30 a.m., and the ribbon cutting will be at 11:15. And come out and give a warm Westmont welcome to the opening. It is in downtown Westmont. It's the old CNC vacuum that a lot of us are familiar with. And then Larry, if you could come up and just tell us about some exciting events coming up with our Sister City program, please.
In keeping with the Taiwanese theme tonight, well, first of all, ni hao. In keeping with the Taiwanese theme tonight, there's the annual Fun Fest coming up on Saturday, May 11th from 11:30 to 3. The students talked tonight about going to the street fair. All the food that's going to be at this Fun Fest will be street fair type food, night market type food. So come on out. It's a fundraiser. It's $10. You get a group of tickets, and you get to sample a wide variety of food. So again, Saturday, May 11th, from 11:30 to 3 at the Taiwanese Cultural Center. And if you like tickets, and we recommend getting tickets in advance because there are a limited number, you can get the tickets at the Westmont Chamber office.
Is there anything else that day?
On the 11th, what am I drawing? Oh, what am I drawing a blank on?
At the 63rd.
Oh, we're planning on a groundbreaking, excuse me, not a groundbreaking, yes, we're at Market Center at 10 o'clock in the morning. We are planning on having a groundbreaking ceremony. We had the demolition ceremony last December where we were swinging some sledgehammers at the shopping center, and now it's time to break ground so that we can start going vertical with that project. So thank you for the reminder. Thanks.
While we're reminding you, Larry, did you want to talk about the senior spring fling?
That's coming up on Friday, May the 3rd. It's going to be at the Community Center at the Westmont Park District, and that's going to be from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. with a group of speakers. And no RSVPs required, and it's a very informative session where you can get a lot of information related to seniors, and we've got a great group of speakers. That's co-sponsored by the Westmont Chamber, the Village of Westmont, and State Rep Deanne Mizaki. So, thank you.
Thank you, Larry. So a lot of good stuff going on. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things I have. Before this meeting, we had our Public Works Committee meeting. It was pretty long. We covered a lot of items, and we didn't get to everything, but just a few highlights. I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed. Residents should expect some local regulation specifics on lead service line replacements. There's a bill pending, and we'll have to pass some local regulations here in the near future, so more to come on that. Another big highlight is you can expect some temporary patch at Cass and Burlington, the intersection there. We all kind of agreed that it's an immediate need of repair before a lot of the summer activities start, so we're going to get that done before a permanent fix. And then also we discussed a new median south of the tracks between, so that'd be like right around Richmond there, to improve some traffic safety. There's some issues of folks going on the other side of the road, unfortunately. So more to come on that. Verizon's going to be installing 22 small cell and new poles, which are pretty neat to improve for 5G service coverage more on the north side of the town. This is at all their expense, so these are new actual light poles with some equipment on it to give Westmont 5G coverage. 22 of them, cost to them is about $5,000 each, so a good savings to the village to get some new LED light poles. And we're going to be progressing along on our North Water Tower. We discussed the location on the school, and I think the village is going to be discussing that potential with the school board here in the near future as well. And last but not least, Public Works facility. We're going to be going out to bid early June, looking at packets once we receive those, and a groundbreaking we're looking in July at some point, so it's going to move quick. And that is all I have for Public Works, I think. Yep. And kind of just some good news. I was approached by Boy Scout Troop 55 this week. I don't think anybody is here. They were going to try to come, but they couldn't make it. They did something that I wasn't aware of, but a pretty neat recycling program. They set up these little kiosks at the local libraries, Westmont included. They collected, as you can see, over 809 pairs of shoes, all dirty, disgusting, but Nike, they partnered with Nike to shred them all, and they make basketballs, footballs, field, like courts and all different types of sporting things. And a pretty neat program that Nike does I wasn't aware of, so I wanted to give them a little attention for that, and I think next year we'll kind of get in front of it and hopefully help them with some more publicity to see if we can get that number a little bit bigger. Good. Because I knew I had a few pairs I could have gave them, but, and lastly, I just want to thank everybody in Westmont for supporting not only me, but Marie and Trustee Little, for another term. It's been productive, it's been fun, and it's a privilege to be here, and I'm honored to be here to serve all Westmont. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items. The next Administration and Finance Committee meeting will be held May 9th, 4:30 in this room. You're all welcome to come out. We also have a budget workshop scheduled for the Thursday before that, May 2nd. Also at 4:30 here in Village Hall, and the public is invited to attend and participate. It's the village budget, so this is a really big deal, and you can understand it. We have Spencer, and Spencer's done a fabulous job in letting us all understand and help us get through the reams of paper that it takes to do a village budget, and it's so much easier now than it's ever been before. So I can appreciate all the effort that not only Spencer puts into, but all the village personnel. So thank you for that. And we'll see you on the 2nd of May. And again, the public is welcome to come out. It will be recorded and made available on the village YouTube channel for playback. If you miss coming in and visiting with us in person, you can also watch it. We have a few community events coming up. The Pet Promenade and Party in the Park, May the 19th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's going to be touch-a-truck pet contests, cold-blooded creatures to touch. So it's all up at Ty Warner Park. Come out for that one. That's hosted by the Westmont Chamber, and it celebrates, educates, and encourages compassion and awareness between area families and their pets. One more thing is the Race to the Flag, May 24th. You can register at the village website, and definitely it benefits the People Resource Center. It's on May 26th. That's a Sunday, so come out for that one. That's an awesome event. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Trustee Barker.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll add to the long list of announcements here, but Westmont First had a meeting, and it was a roundtable discussion where we invited the art community to come in and talk, and we shared a lot of great ideas. And me personally, with having some art background, it was a phenomenal meeting. I felt very worthwhile, and out of that, our hope is possibly that this group would stay together and form a community group here. And so we're taking our artists and trying to keep them in Westmont and not have them have to go other places to kind of seek the attention that they deserve. There's a lot of talented people here, and we're diving a little bit deeper into that. So we're optimistic with the help of Westmont First and a show of support that we can grow that and really do something nice here in our community. That being said, there is no April meeting for Westmont First. We will meet again in May, so that's a little bit easier on our schedule. And then the EIC committee, which will meet in May, but before we do, we have a ton of events coming up, and the Green Speaker Series with the library. They have a habitat makeover, adding wildlife values to the landscape. They have a seed swap and plant exchange that they started with the Westmont High School a year or so ago, where the students are involved in that through their school and working in conjunction with the library. And then they have a speaker of composting and building your garden from the ground up. So we have these environmental talks and education going on with the library and with the support of the EIC. But we also had, last year, purchased a machine that's, we call it a bulb smasher, but it's bulb recycling, so we're able to take old fluorescent lighting and other lights and crush them up and get that into recycling instead of having that going into a landfill. So we're trotting that thing out on April 20th from 9 to noon in the library parking lot. And we're inviting the community to bring their bulbs. Just drive up through the drive-up lane and hand us your bulbs. We're happy to put those in the bulb smasher and recycle those properly instead of throwing them in a landfill. So that's been successful through the community and with the help of Director Ramsey. You know, we were happy to find out that we filled our first drum. We've actually filled our first drum, and that was just collecting stuff from the community, the village here as a whole. They helped out the library and they helped out the school district of stuff that's just on the shelf looking for a place to be, you know, properly disposed of. So we're enjoying that. Also, we have a tree seedling giveaway at that time from 9 to noon, and you can sign up at the village website for that. And you know, John Yater does a ton of great work with forestry and the plants and things through the EIC. And then we have Jenny's raffle barrel that was kindly painted for us as a fundraiser for Richmond Gardens, and she did that, and we displayed it on the street fair last year. That's going to be raffled off on April 23rd, 22nd, April 22nd, Earth Day. And the tickets are still available. I have some if anybody would like them. They're $1 a piece. And all that money goes to Richmond Gardens. And so we thank her for that. And not only on top of that, she's done great work there, but she also volunteered to paint another one. So we'll have another one. And well, Larry told me it was a Star Trek theme, but it's not. It's bees, in keeping with the Richmond Gardens. So we're very thrilled with that, and we thank you for that. And then, lastly, we have two events. One is a storm drain stenciling, which we have, because April's so busy, we've moved that to June. It's June 1st, 9 to noon. Sign up through the village website for that. And then the river sweep is, I was introduced to this by Trustee Nero years ago, but the river sweep is May 18th from 9 to noon, and we also count on volunteers to do that. John Yater found the property that the village owns, and I wanted to bring pictures of that here. I just didn't have the time to pull it together, but he took pictures of the lot over there opposite the, I refer to it as the girls softball field and the golf course, that little area that we purchased over there. And if you look at the details, it needs a ton of attention. There is trash in there from, you know, years and years ago, and we're excited to have the EIC out there and all the volunteers that you can send, restoring that to what it should be. So sign up for river sweep, sign up for storm drain stenciling, and bring us your old light bulbs. That is all, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on, I got one more congratulations, and that's to my daughter and son-in-law for the birth of my 5th grandchild.
Beat me.
This morning, 8 pounds, 13 ounces.
Wow.
They're gonna name him tomorrow. Oh. They won't let me know. But I beat 6th year being mayor, and I started with no grandkids, and now I've got 5. So just want to congratulate them.
Good for them.
Moving on, public hearing. Public hearing for the issuance of bonds. Public hearing pursuant to requirements of Section 10 and 20 of the Bond Issuance Notification Act of the State of Illinois as amended on the plans to issue general obligation bonds, which are also known as alternate revenue source, Series 2019, in the total amount not to exceed $17,500,000. And Director Parker, you want to, before I open forum, you got anything to add?
Sure, I'll just mention that this is just the next step required to issue the bonds for the Public Works facility that was discussed briefly at committee meeting.
Okay. I'll open forum. Is anybody here who would like to comment on that bond issue?
Public hearing.
Public hearing. It's equivalent, yeah.
Yes.
Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and move on. Does anybody have any items they want removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read.
On the consent agenda this evening, the first item is Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held March 14, 2019. It's followed by Finance Ordinance number 23 in the aggregate amount of $2,589,767.70. Next, we have purchase orders. First purchase order is for Go Painters, $25,000. That represents bulk fire hydrant painting services. Next purchase order is RMC Incorporated, $21,097. And that's for HVAC controls for the first floor at Westmont Center. Third purchase order, Vidido Tree Experts, $24,723. That's for 2019 Parkway tree pruning services. It's followed by Clark Environmental Mosquito, $79,520. This is an open purchase order for the aggregate contract for the entire 2019 season. Total of purchase orders is $150,340. Brings the total of purchase orders and finance ordinance number 23 to $2,740,109.70. We have a community event this evening as well. It's the U.S. Luge Tryouts. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from the U.S. Olympic Luge Team for their 2019 Slider Search Tryouts. It would include a live amplified sound permit and street and public right-of-way closures in the same manner that they have done previously when being in town. Two proclamations. First is National Volunteer Week. Board to consider a proclamation to declare April 7 through 13th of 2019 as National Volunteer Week in the Village of Westmont. And board to consider a proclamation to declare also April 7th through the 13th, 2019 as National Library Week in the Village of Westmont. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second by Little.
Motion been made and second to approve as read. On the question, do you have a date for the event?
I do. Looking over your shoulder, it is June 22nd and 23rd.
All right. And this National Volunteer Proclamation, I could say that we could say Westmont's the whole year because we've got the best volunteers around.
Amen.
No other questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Parker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business. This is from one of our oldest service clubs, but it's a new event. 2019 Lions Club Oktoberfest and 5K Run. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from the Westmont Lions Club for their proposed 2019 Oktoberfest and 5K Run event. 1, special event liquor license fee waiver. 2, amusement license fee waiver. 3, tent permit fee waiver. 4, live amplified sound permit. And 5, street and public right-of-way closures, partial closures, and temporary closures. And I got Director McIntyre to add to that.
Thank you very much. Wanted to kind of show some layouts and maps of the talk through the closures. It might be helpful to think of it as two different types of events, but the first part is the Oktoberfest, which the plan is to have it right in front of Village Hall. And it's important to note that Quincy from Cass to Lincoln is not being asked to be closed. So that'll remain open for the duration of the event. So all the businesses in that first block will be unaffected. But starting Thursday evening, approximately 6 p.m., 7 p.m., it's basically after commuters come home and the parking lot empties out here in front of Village Hall. That's the point in time where both of the commuter lots in front of Village Hall on West Quincy will start to be closed, and we'll start doing the prep for the event. The event is actually going to start on Friday at 4 p.m., but for any folks who are involved with things like this, they know how long it takes. So you start the night before, and you put up the tent, you do as much as you can, and you continue to work the whole day so that you can be open in time for the 4 p.m. start on Friday. Right in front of Village Hall, that section of Quincy will be closed. So that'll be from Lincoln to Grant, and it'll remain closed for the duration of the event with the intention of opening up no later than Sunday at 6 p.m. That's what's on the request form. In all likelihood, chances are it will open before then, but we gave ourselves plenty of time to remove all of the items that will be on Quincy. The other streets around there will mostly be open, and I'll have members of the Lions Club, including Dan, who's the coordinator of this, come up and talk through the details of the event. But I just wanted to talk through the closures. So now I'm going to shift gears, and we're going to talk about the 5K, because on Saturday they're proposing a 5K. And as far as I know, this is the first 5K in this area of town, but we have had 5Ks in residential areas before. And I think when they're first introduced, folks have concerns about it, but then after people get used to it, they tend to work out okay. But the proposed layout for the 5K is stretching along West Quincy, and this was all in everybody's packet as well. But then it heads north on Hudson, then east on Des Moines, north on Lincoln, west on Dallas, north on Washington, east on Richmond, and then north on Grant. And then basically it's 2 loops. You do that loop twice, and that completes the 5K. So this is not only a 5K race, but just similar to our Holidays race. There's also the fun run and walk, and so it's a fun event. The request for closure, I believe, is from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I think that's generous. We often do. The race starts at 8, and we typically do not have the streets completely closed off for a full hour, but we put that in the request so that we have that leeway. Also, usually within 90 minutes, the race is completely over, and so by asking for the closure to continue until 10 a.m., that's also being generous. The event will most likely be over well in advance of that. The Lions Club did put together a notice and blanketed the entire area. Every single address was delivered with this notice, letting them know that we're having a meeting tonight to discuss this, and also it included the map, so people knew exactly what was happening. I received probably a handful of phone calls, and after talking with all the residents, I think we put all of their concerns to rest. Working with Chief Riley and the EMA, we plan to work with EMA to talk about how we're going to make sure that residents aren't trapped in their homes for a 2-hour time frame. We're going to make sure people are trained so that we can get residents out. And if people have specific needs, we're asking them to contact us in advance, and we'll make accommodations to get them out of their homes if that's necessary. And that's all I had in terms of street closures. If you want, Dan can come up and talk more about it.
Since it's a new event, we'll have
Sure.
representatives from the Lions Club talk about it, and maybe we got questions. I don't know.
Thanks.
So as you guys are aware, it's the 5K running for the cause. It's going to be wrapped around the diabetes. We're trying to right now work with Elmhurst Hospital and their diabetes wing to be one of the speakers of the event. Did speak with a couple businesses this week, and Durrett is going to be on board. They're okay with the closure, but they're also going to be getting involved with it. I haven't been speaking to the music shop because they're closed every time I go. As for, you know, for the event itself, it's going to be pretty quick. Like he was saying with the times of closure, I think that's a pretty generous time. I hope to be, you know, the award ceremony is set for 10:30. I'm wanting to be pretty already involved with that and getting all the streets, making sure people can get through. I'm not looking for a permanent closure. I'm only looking for cones. People should be able to pass right through. There shouldn't be a need to, you know, stop residents or hinder them from going through. As for the event, you know, that's for the run. You know, there'll be the award ceremony. We're following CARA guidelines. We're following USA Track and Field guidelines. If you do look across Westmont, you on the track itself, you'll see there's green and red spray paint. The track was already certified as of Saturday last week. I've got the application already sent off to USA Track and Field. It was short by 129 feet, which we fixed. The do not enter sign right before Endure It and that music shop is actually going to be the start line. The finish line is even with the end of Grant before it crosses into Quincy. So there will be two massive truss segments set up there. It'll all be timed. We're going to follow this thing so that it really gets the people involved. Big chutes, if you can match, you know, just imagine going to Chicago for the big runs. All the chutes will be lined up. People have the you know, the ability to put all their banners and good stuff up there if they want to. That'll get into the sponsorship portion, which I'm not going after yet. Sound system there. I don't know what they call the gun that shoots the thing off, if it's a flare gun or whatever it is, cap gun. You know, we're going to follow everything to the T to make sure, because one of the things that we want to make sure going forward is that the runners are looking for specific things to make this thing, you know what I mean? They're going to look. We're going to record the entire track so that they can see on the website before they even make a decision to run it. Runners want to know, is there too many hills? They're not going to run a high hill. They're not going to want to go on a huge downgrade. So again, after getting the people out for certification, it was a pretty flat course. So the people from Naperville 26, they were really happy. They do the healthy drive, I think it's called, and the turkey trot. So those are the people we contacted to actually come out and help with the certification. For the festival itself, there'll be 90 cars for the car show. There'll be the tent. It's 30 by 100. Underneath there will be the stage. 5 bands will be playing, as well as we're going to call it a DJ. It's not really. It's just going to be music playing, because right now, Friday, before most of the commuters get home and people get home, there's no point to have a band starting off right at 4 o'clock. We will provide beer. Right now, we're going between Reyes, Superior, and Euclid Beverage to secure the best price. And the beer, I'm looking for 3, since this is wrapped around Oktoberfest as well, looking for 3 beers that will also bring in a younger group like me to bring more business. On the other side with the vendor, it's only one vendor. It's Uncle Bub's. That's who we're working with right now. We are looking at another option. I believe it's called Dolce. For that, you can also see here the EMA tent. That'll be there. Working with Mr. Addington here, we'll be having the health buses, the hearing and screening. Still working, again, speaking with Elmhurst Hospital, because this is wrapped around diabetes, working with them on doing diabetes testing, strip testing and whatnot, making people educated. So that's going to be one of the big portions. Still also working with my doctor group, which is DuPage Medical, working with them. They're looking at being a possible sponsorship with this, but just their diabetes portion, not having DuPage Medical Group on a whole. There'll be a generator. Right now we're looking at about a 38 kW just to handle all the power for food, and then the arts and crafts on that side. Anybody who requires power, I will provide it. The other side will just be non-power. Sponsorship has already started. And trash is on the far back side. Like I said, traffic, we're not going to, only in the portion right here between Lincoln and Quincy will be blocked off. No traffic flow will be hindered in any way, shape, or form. That's about really, I mean, there's a lot more to go. I mean, I don't want to.
Just so, new event, our process is they go to the special events and they review it, they add comments, and they did that, and this is what they agreed to. And the beer, alcohol area would be fenced out?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I already looked into the signs, no alcohol, past this point, prohibited signs. I'm hoping
for the barbecue
2 to 4, yeah, if we got some, you know, and I mean, there'll be people there. If somebody steps off, I mean, I'd be happy to go chase them down.
Do you, you're gonna give some notification to commuters?
Yeah, oh yeah, 2 weeks before they'll get a notice, and then the week before, as well as what was a great suggestion actually by Larry is the week of. We're talking about handing out little pamphlets there to get commuters involved. Also maybe one person at Downers Grove train station, Clarendon Hills, just to get people, catch them off the train, come right an event. You know, this isn't just Westmont, you know, let's get people from around as well. So I thought that was a great idea. So there's no way commuters won't be, you know what I mean, we'll make, and same thing with residents. This week, this past weekend, my wife, Rick and his daughter, went out and handed out all the flyers to the entire south side in 2 hours, 46 minutes. That was amazing. I couldn't even do it. It took me 30 minutes just to go to 5. So yeah, I mean, we'll make sure we get any notice. And if there's any problems, they can reach out to me, them. I'll be happy to make them happy.
And before I call Trustee Edding, he may be saying the same thing I'm going to say is.
But go ahead.
This is the traditional Powwow Day site.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think what we'd like to see this event become for the 100th anniversary in 2 years is another kind of Powwow Days incorporating what you're doing now and maybe a carnival.
Yeah.
So Trustee Addington.
This again is just on these list of things that you have here. The one thing I don't see, and I thought that we had to ask for that when we used to do the powwow days here, which is permission for the commuters to park on the side streets during the day. And should that be shouldn't that also be on this list of things that are approved?
I think there can be a temporary police order that takes care of that.
Okay. I just want to be sure we had that covered. The only other thing I want to mention, Dan, who's one of our newest members of the club, has talked a lot about doing this, and he's talked about diabetes. For those, diabetes has become, as the Lions have eliminated or are close to eliminating some of the causes of blindness in this world through their efforts, diabetes is becoming one of the new biggies. And they are estimating that 1 in 4 people today have it and don't know it. And that number is only going to increase as years go on. So what we're hoping to do with this is to create some awareness. Maybe if we can do the testing and get other things set up, this will be a biggie in helping people to stay healthy. I'm a type 2. Fortunately, I was diagnosed early enough that it's controlled with pills, and not everybody is that lucky, but it's a serious, not only is it a killer, but it's a blinder. And that's how the Lions have been involved in this thing. So.
I'd like to piggy off that a little bit. I want people to make sure that it's not just an Oktoberfest, it's not just drinking and coming out. The run is around diabetes, right? So there's going to be 2 to 3 speakers that are going on in between and talking. There's going to be people out there talking about that, getting pamphlets out. Like I said, I'm not even just having conversations right now with DuPage Medical. I've already reached out to Abbott and Merck, a bunch of other ones, even for supplies, so that there's tents and stuff for people to get the information. It's 2 different things wrapped into one. Yes, there's a health aspect of it. Yes, there's a fun aspect of it. So, you know, that's a main thing that I want to be clear with.
Good. I want to open it up. If anybody here from the public would like to comment on this, now's the time. Well, then I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved, Guzzo.
Second, Addington.
Motion been made and seconded. On the question.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah. I think they've done everything right.
As a Rotarian, I have to tell you, I'm envious of the Lions Club here in town. You guys do so much and give so much back to the community.
Yeah.
All your events, really hats off to all you guys and your members. Even that guy back there, but really, what a wonderful group, and what a wonderful amount of things that they give back to the community. So we better step it up in Rotary, Jenny.
Yeah, they're big time.
I can't do anymore.
Seeing no other comments, roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Be down for
She
you.
called you twice.
Did I call you? Did I forgot Harold? Trustee
Still
Barry.
All right. Moving on, new business B, 1128 South William Street, Eagle Creek Apartments. Board to consider ordinance for site plan and landscape plan approval for Eagle Creek Apartments to permit modifications to previously approved landscaping. Director Sylvester.
Mr. Mayor and trustees, the applicant submitted plans to improve some of the sites around their apartment complex, some landscaping improvements, and around their pool area. Our consultant planner, Con Savoy, determined that the amount of disturbance was enough that it triggered the requirement for the landscape plan to be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission. They did that at their March meeting. They were very pleased with the proposed improvements to the landscaping at the site. They requested that the developer or that the property owner modify their plan slightly to increase some accessibility to some of the proposed grills that are being installed, and the applicant was very responsive and agreed to do that. So based on that discussion, the staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little.
Motion been made in second to approve. On the question, anybody, I know the management company's here. Anybody have a question in the audience or comment?
Just a comment, Mayor. It was nice to see him continuing to keep this property up.
Yep.
Been doing a lot the past couple of years.
All right. Seeing no other comments, I'd ask for a roll call.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business C, revenue bonds issuance. Board to consider authorizing the issuance of water revenue bonds series 2019 in one or more series of the Village of Westmont, DuPage County, Illinois, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $7,500,000 for the purpose of financing the costs of certain water system-related capital projects within the village and paying or costs related thereto. Director Parker.
Because the bonds for the Public Works facility may be paid back at least partially by the water fund, we need to have an ordinance specifically adopting a revenue bond as opposed to an alternate revenue bond because of the different revenue source.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Addington.
Second, Little.
Motion been made and second on the question. Anybody in the audience? All right, seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business D, service agreement, Interactive Health. Board to consider ordinance authorizing a service agreement with Interactive Health to provide health and wellness services for the village staff. Director Brainard.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. For a number of years now, the village has had a health and wellness program, and over that time, there have been several vendors that have administered that program for us. Most recently, it was Push Wellness who offered an incentive-based program that was centered around biometric screening. However, last September, the Insurance and Health and Wellness Committees began exploring options to replace that program, primarily because there were increasing administration fees following our exit from IPBC, and also because Push didn't have the ability to incentivize anything beyond biometric screening, which made it a very narrow program. Unfortunately, with the transition in HR staff, the initiative stalled a little bit, and because our agreement with Push ended on December 31st, we've been operating without a formal health and wellness program now for about 3 months. So during that time, the staff has been working with Assurance, who's our health insurance broker, to find a replacement program with the goal of locating a solution that has enhanced benefits that will encourage more staff to participate in our program. After months of vetting potential vendors, the committee members feel that Interactive Health would be the best option to administer this program for us going forward. Interactive Health does have a more broad-based approach to wellness, which allows many opportunities for participants to engage in the program and earn their incentives. So this program plans to include biometric screening, but won't be exclusively based on that, unlike the program that Push was offering for us. Another good thing about the Interactive Health platform is that we'll have the opportunity to customize not only the program, but the corresponding incentive and structure, which can award points for a variety of healthy activities. not just the biometric screening. The plan, if approved, would be to work with Interactive Health to design the structure specifically for the village, and we envision that structure will be based around points earned for various healthy activities with incentive maximum that would be similar to those that were earned through the PUSH program. Additionally, we're excited about the expanded activity options for staff because we anticipate that this will drive participation to the program, especially for people who aren't comfortable having a health screening at work. Also, it's important to note that even though we're looking at an expanded program, we anticipate the overall cost to be similar to that of PUSH, in part because Interactive Health is able to direct bill our health plan for the biometric screening for anybody that's enrolled in the PPO program, and also because Interactive Health has agreed to waive the portal fees for the online access for the first 3 years of the agreement. So for those reasons, staff recommends approval of the agreement with Interactive Health for our health and wellness services.
The motion is to approve, and I sign.
Yeah, the agreement is actually, because we got it, my office just got it recently, we had some proposed changes to the agreement, which I believe have been sent off today to Interactive Health. So approving this ordinance is contingent on the attorney modifications being accepted, and at that point, the mayor has authority to sign.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion's made in second to approve. On the question.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
I'm just wondering, so you said long-term, you mentioned 3 years, is that what we're looking at? Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3-year term. The village can get out of the contract if there's a breach by Interactive Health. Otherwise, at the end of 3 years, it can be renewed or canceled by either party.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody in the audience want to comment? Any other trustee? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Adams?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business E. Fire Department surplus equipment. Board to consider ordinance to declare certain fire department equipment as surplus village property. Fire Chief Riley.
Thank you, Mayor. The property identified on the attached list has outlived its useful life, is outdated, non-functional, or otherwise not maintainable. This equipment will be sold or disposed of by a method acceptable to the village manager.
We've done this numerous times before. Do I have a
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
motion been made second? On the question. Anybody? Police don't have nothing to add? Okay. Roll call, please. You're next.
They're next.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business F, surplus property, the Westmont Police Department. Board to consider ordinance to declare certain police department equipment as surplus village property. Manager May.
This is the similar item as it was with the fire department, it's just a different department, so well, it's the same, it's just different inventory.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion been made second. Any comments, questions?
Are we replacing this one, or so we'll keep using those trailers around town? Good, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business G, reapproval of personnel code amendment. Board to consider ordinance reapproving an amendment to the Village Code of Ordinances, Chapter 62, Personnel, Section 62-95, Holidays. Attorney Zemanek.
Thanks, Mayor. Back in January of 2018, the village board approved comprehensive amendments to the personnel code. It seemed like almost every section of the personnel code was touched upon in one aspect or another. The changes that were discussed to section 6295 holidays was not, those changes were not incorporated into the comprehensive amendments through an omission by the attorney's office, I believe. But those changes have been implemented by staff, and the changes were that the Good Friday holiday was replaced by Christmas Eve holiday, and 3 personal days granted to employees was replaced by 4 floating holidays. So just reached out to the code company and said this was discussed and approved by the board, but not kind of a clerical error, and they said, you guys need to reapprove it.
Do I have a motion?
Motion. Addington.
Little.
Second, Little. Comments? Question? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous. Anybody have anything? Larry, you have anything to add?
I did forget one thing, as long as we're here. The long-awaited project on North Cass has had activity. It's been proposed as a townhome, it's been proposed. So last week, Larry, I think we started getting Vidido Tree, who we saw here earlier, they removed the trees, and I think today or yesterday, the construction fencing went up. So that's been a long, long vacant property and part of the economic development that's going on. So.
And what's going to go in there?
22 homes, I think.
22 homes, I believe, is our last situation, and those are over 55, is that still?
No, I don't believe they advertised those as age restricted. It was like a townhouse type development with a couple buildings and yeah, private roadways through there. And it also included a dedication of a portion of what could be the extended Lincoln Street.
So overall, just a great project for the village.
It's been sitting for a long time.
Yeah.
The other thing, as long as we're talking about economic development, I think I saw walls being placed at the natatorium.
Good. They're moving.
It's, the weather's breaking now and things are happening, so a lot of positives.
Good. Any other items? Seeing none, there's nothing for executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Addington.
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and second to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little. Trustee Little.
Say yes.
Yes.
Don't know how to vote.
Trustee Barker.
We don't get
Then we'll go home.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
All right, I'd like to thank everybody for attending, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
God.